So instead of using like an Adobe Photoshop program on here or a drawing program, I've downloaded something called AstroPad, and what that does is it mirrors the Mac screen and puts it right on here in the format of a drawing pad. When it comes to hardware, the Cintiq is really big and clunky. Like there's a lot going on here. If you look behind, let's have a look behind the computer here for a second. So we got this long wire here, and it's got one that plugs into the wall, and it's got two that plug into the computer. Right here, I had to buy a separate adapter because the Wacom doesn't actually plug straight into the Mac itself. So that was probably an extra 20 bucks or so. So that's really obnoxious, having my nice little clean working space, having wires all over it. And if you're drawing every day, it may not be a big deal just to put this in place one time and always have this just sitting there. That may not bother you too much. What is really nice is that it comes with this stand with different, you can set the different heights on. That's pretty handy. I find that that's really a nice thing to get to work with. The iPad is far superior as far as like not having to connect to anything, because this is connected via Bluetooth. And I just use the little box that the Apple Pencil came in, and I just prop it up like that so I can draw with it. And that works really nicely for me. There we go. This is the guy that I drew on a combination of the Wacom tablet and on the iPad with the Apple Pencil. And after using both, I gotta say, it's like I don't find one of these to be particularly better than the other. The Apple Pencil actually feels like it's made out of wood. This one feels like it's super light, made out of plastic, which isn't bad. That's just the way it feels. And they're both really natural feeling. Neither one of them are very weird. They're both really quick and easy to get used to. I don't like that the Wacom has this little button here. I get why it's convenient, but I always click it by accident, and that's a little bit of a pain. The Wacom pencil though is really cool because as you flip it upside down and you erase with it, this acts like an eraser, and that's really neat. But half the time I forget that that's an option, and I'll click the eraser button anyway. So, and the Apple Pencil doesn't do that. The Wacom tablet comes with it's like a little inkwell sort of style thing. There's really no delay. It's not sloppy. It never reads my hand when my hand's sitting on there. Not with this program anyway. So that's really nice. They're both very I feel like they're both equally sensitive to pressure. I forget what the actual sizes are, but they're pretty comparable. I think the screens are actually almost exactly the same size. If not, they're really close. So I don't think the screen size really matters. It feels like it's bigger on the iPad. That might just be because the bezels on the side are smaller. But as far as screens go, they're the same size. So when you plug in the Wacom, what you got to do is you act as if it's like a whole other screen. You drag it over to the Wacom, and it's not going to be quite sized right. So you size it properly, and then it just acts as a dual screen monitor setup, really. So, and I've changed some of my menus here. So this one for me is going to be zoom in. But if I want to move around the screen, I have to use this mouse right here. I usually have both of these in my hand at the same time so I can move around and stuff. So now I can draw with it. On the iPad, I use a program called AstroPad. It's 20 bucks, definitely worth it. It's super clean. I mean, it's not something you don't have to put any effort into setting it up or setting things correctly. It's made for artists, and it turns your iPad. It's meant for the purpose of turning your iPad into a drawing tablet. And you have all these little options here, which are, you can change all of them to whatever you like. You can, just like you can on this. So as for the buttons and menus, I would say that they're both the same, actually. For some reason, I enjoy using them better on the iPad. It feels more, having this setup right here feels more modern, and it actually has the words on it, whereas these I have to memorize on the Wacom tablet. If you forget what one is, you hit that, and it shows you what you saved them to. But setting up the buttons is a much easier, simpler task. Overall, I would say the iPad is just a cleaner thing to use. For when you get the Wacom, you have like 2 or 3 different programs that you have to download onto your computer just to adjust the settings on your tablet. It's more than just intuitive. It's no work at all. It's really easy. Like, I had this going. I brought this home and I was drawing on it within just a few minutes. I would say that the iPad with the Apple Pencil and the AstroPad app make it every bit as good of a drawing tablet for a professional artist as the Wacom Cintiq 13 HD. So, with that said, the other thing you can't forget about is the iPad Pro is an iPad. So, I mean, after I finish this review, I'm actually going to sell this and take this back to the store, because my iPad Pro takes the place of both my iPad Air and my Wacom Cintiq. Drawing on this is really nice. I mean, I'm starting to draw more and more. I say this, I haven't had this very long, but I think I'm going to be drawing a lot more on the iPad, because it feels just like taking my sketchbook and just sitting on the couch and just drawing with it. I feel like this is basically the same experience. The benefit is, when I want to transfer it to the computer, it's already digitized, so that's a huge benefit. I didn't think it would really matter. I didn't think I would be drawing on the couch with this, but immediately I started drawing on the couch with it more, instead of just sitting at my desk, which is a lot more relaxing, and it's a lot nicer to be able to get up and go somewhere else to draw. I can take it with me other places and draw with it when I'm on the go as well, using different apps. So for pricing, the Cintiq and the iPad Pro are the exact same price. Of course, when you get the iPad Pro, you also need to buy the Apple Pencil, which costs you an extra $100. And if you have a Mac, you're going to have to buy an adapter, which is about the same price as the AstroPad app. They're both about $20, I believe. So, all in all, with the two setups, I spent $100 more for the iPad Pro. If I were to compare that to having a Cintiq and an iPad, that I spent, I don't even remember how much those are. I want to say they're like $300 or $400. Let's assume it's $300. Now this setup has cost me $200 more than my iPad Pro, and the iPad Pro is probably a better drawing tablet than the Wacom is, and it's a better iPad than the iPad is. You can just do all kinds of things with your iPad that you're not going to get to do with your Cintiq, and you're not going to do as well with your iPad. And I mean, there's a lot of cool features that if you're interested in like comparing the two iPads, you can just go look that up on your own. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to value, I would definitely say the iPad's a better value.